Hello, everyone. I guess we are up for now. Let me unmute the microphone. So I'm actually recording the call. So even those that might miss it, at least I can upload it so they can get to watch it. So it's just be a short session, anyways, probably less than an hour. So probably let's give this next 5 minutes with just some random thoughts with your 1 week experience of how you feel about this week's ALX tax and all. Any experience or any thoughts concerning it within the next 5 minutes while we are at this waiting for some others to join in. So we'll kickstart in the next 4 minutes. So let's just use this for this extra 4 minutes to give chance to some to join. And if there is any random question or thoughts concerning your first week in ALX, you are free to share with us.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm Emmanuel. So, random thoughts about this first week. All I can say is, Omo, God, I beg. See that person.
It's all that we can say is okay.
Oh, I saw, before I applied, I saw 70 hours per week. Oh. It's my first week I applied. And they have not even started the main thing, but the way this week went. uh, Well, though, all I can say is that multitasking is a must for anyone who has other things he's doing. Learn how to multitask. It can be while you're reading your resources, it can be multitasking with any other thing before you give the full time to do the project.
Hmm, I understand.
It's really, really not easy at all. But I'll scale through. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, so we have like 2 minutes to go. So once the 2 minutes elapses, I will just do some summary. I'm not going in depth in this call, okay? You can just submit yourself, King David. So I'm not going in depth. I just do some summary of the major things we most likely will be doing or be using in the text editor, in the share navigation with the kits. So if you want to learn in depth, go to those my tutorial videos to learn in depth. So for this time on, I'll just be doing the surface thing of the repeated thing you just be doing along as time goes on. So some of those deep concepts you may not be using it yet. It's just for your knowledge in case issues comes and you need to use them. When it comes to just bit of doing the LS tasks and doing some quick stuff, so it's just the normal basic things I will go through that you most likely be using every time for the rest of the course. And like I said the other time, all the projects will be in Sandbox. So if you are familiar with Visual Studio Code before, you won't need it. You won't use it in this course at all. So everything will be in the Sandbox, and also your work will be stored in a GitHub site. For the GitHub sites, probably only by upper week too. It will be mandatory to always push all your work in your GitHub, but now it's not yet mandatory. Even some people are already giving up already from the beginning, or some are not keeping track with what's going on because of work, because it's not easy, especially those who are working 9 to 5. ALS will be more harder for people like them. ALS wasn't built for workers actually, it was built for people that are always free at home doing nothing. So those kind of people, that is what ALS is primarily built for. But at times we still need to chase our own dreams instead of investing much time in other people's visions. I mean, like working for people, helping them promote their own vision, their own dreams, while your own dream is dying. So at the same time, we need to try to sacrifice time to work on our passion and try to be gain some certain freedom at a point in our lives. Even some people have started meeting me, asking me for private tutorship because of they don't have that much time to be watching videos, or they will have questions along the line. They need one-on-one interaction. So if there are more people like that, you can just DM me. Let's talk about that and probably bargain. So I have most of the recent students I had that were doing private tutor. Some funny enough, both are from South Africa. Since South Africa people like one-on-one tutorship. Okay, we are up. We have still 6 minutes, so let's start something. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mute everyone's mic, so you won't be able to unmute yourself. So just pay attention with all what I have done. So when I'm through with it, then I can just unmute. Then we can just ask any question regarding to what I've written down, whatever I've done. Then we close the session. So I don't want it to be something long. I want it to be straightforward, straight to the point. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so this is my Ubuntu terminal. And whenever you're running Ubuntu once, to bring some kind of detailed information. So when you are running a second time, to just be something like blank like this. So it won't be that much of a detailed text that you are going to see there concerning the information of Ubuntu. So one of the major commands everybody's supposed to know by now when it comes to shell navigation is the popular ls. Like you can't overemphasize on this. So let's go back to the major parts of how it looks like in a sandbox. So this is the major beginning of it. So ls, all this ls is very, very necessary whenever you want to check if you are really creating. If what you are really creating is really showing, it's always good to use ls to check things like that. So like what I mean that whenever if you create a file. Okay, so I have to go to my own directory for me to do that. And these guys that are joining, they're really slowing us down. Okay, so looking at this is the list of the normal root directory list, right? And I want you to notice something. Probably you might not have noticed. These roots, if I do cd roots in here, it won't open. You can see what it says. You have permission denied. Now, permission denied because I am not running as the what's the name of that stuff? As the what I said here, admin. Like the root, I'm not the root, I'm not in the root I'm not the root user. Yeah, that's a good statement. Remember, in your Windows now, in your Windows, you can create 2 or 3 accounts. You can have your own personal account. You can even create a second account inside the same Windows that will have different interface, different applications for another user to use. So the same thing applies to Linux. So you can have different users. So it's only the real root user that can access these roots. So later on, you learn how to become a root user or how to change, how to create different users. And you need to understand that Ubuntu is a virtual Linux system. Since I'm still on my Windows, so I need to use something virtual. I don't want to scatter or spoil my Windows interface. So that is why we are using Ubuntu to imagine our brain as assume as if we are using the normal Linux operating system itself. Okay, so I believe you get that English that I'm trying to say. So ls to check and there's something I wanted to say. This route now, I couldn't enter that route. Permission denied. But then if you notice, if you go to your sandbox and you run your routes, I may click on the web them. So if I do ls, can do if I see cd routes, this will open for me. Now let me explain something here. There is a way ALS to tweak their sandbox that is not working exactly as how Ubuntu is supposed to work. Okay, that's not working exactly as how Ubuntu is supposed to work. So if you notice something here, Yeah, I did see the routes and it took me somewhere, right? But if you notice this icon here is actually the home directory. Looking at that symbol, remember the symbol for home directory. We have this sign. I forgot the name of this sign. What the name that looks like earthworm. So this sign and the hash is the symbol for home directory. While this forward slash and hash is the root directory, right? So now on the norms, this cd roots is supposed to be this home here. You understand? I don't okay, let me do it here now. If I write cd, yeah, no, cd is the short command for taking me straight to home directory. I'm saying this because I assume you have already watched my videos. All right. So CD is a shortcut of going to the home directory. So when our home directory, if you notice, look at the symbols, that's the same thing. Look at the sign. That's tilde. Yeah. Yeah. Tilde is the name. So tilde. I can see the tilde sign. So that sign represents the home directory. So if I do CD, it should take me to the home directory here. And this part is as if the sandbox make the root work as if it's the home. So it's as if this home and this root are the same thing in a way, as far as for the sandbox is concerned, okay. But in reality, it's actually not the same thing. So I don't know why ALX tweak their own to make it seem this way. Just I'm just saying this just so you know. If I do PWD, if you notice PWD, it's saying it's the roots directly. Let me see what's inside. You can see what's inside. And nothing that's inside that are actually still in my home directory. Okay, they're still in this home directory. And remember the way of going back up, cd dot dots. That will take you one step up to the parent directory. So if I do cd dot dots, you can see how this sandbox is really lagging. That's why I don't like using sandbox. I rather just connect to my SSH. If I do cd home now, I want to go to this direct home part. So cd home ls, um, my username cd roots. So ALS has already by default make us the root directory. You understand? Remember what I said here in this Ubuntu that we are not the root directory. I'm not the root directory. I'm in another account, user account called Lexis Code. So assuming I'm in my root directory, that's when I'll be able to access this root here. Then if you notice here in ALX, we have roots in this left side, which means we are the root user. Root user meaning we are like the major owner of the system, the operating system itself. That means we can choose to tweak it whenever we like or do whatever we want to do with it. So I just feel like I should point this out so you just get to understand why you are seeing these roots here and why you are seeing your own username here. So there are like different users accounts you can create in Linux. Just like in your Windows, you can create different accounts that is still using the same laptop. Okay. So, like I said, you'll surely be using things like CD, LS to this stuff, and you'll need to create files for your project. Okay, we all know that one. So to create empty file, you can use the touch command, then the file name. Let me some maybe file name. So ls to check what you've done. So that's the file name. So you don't need to use maybe file name and an extension like file name dot doc or file name dot whatever. So you can just for Linux you can just give it. Please for the file name you just need to just put the name of the file. You don't need to put the extension at all. So but just notice the color of files. So it's always this whitish color. All right, so you can use touch to create the empty. Remember, this is an empty file. If you want to confirm that's an empty file, you can use the cat command. So the cat command is just a way to view what is inside. As you can see, I I wrote cat file name, it didn't bring out anything. So it means that there's actually nothing inside. So it's like an empty file that doesn't have any content inside, right? So aside from this touch command, in short, on a norms, touch command should not be used to, it's not primarily created for creating file, but it just happens to be creating an empty file. All right. So another short way of doing this is also using the arrow command, like the greater than arrow command, then put the name of the file. So I can say file name 2. If you check the list, you will see the file name. So there are several ways of creating the same file names. So this is one way, this is another way. By the way, this greater than sign way is actually something called redirection. So you will soon learn about redirection later on in the course. So whereby you can also use echo command to create a file that has some content inside. Then use the greater than arrow, then put the name of the file. So I can just choose the name of this one, file name 3. So I'm showing you different ways of creating files now. So if I do ls now, you can see we have file name 3. So we have file name 1, file name 2, file name 3. Then I can choose, since my echo command has a contents. Remember, to use the content, you have to use the quotation marks. Can you use semicolon or double quotations, single quotation or double quotation mark? Doesn't really matter. So let me check what's inside my file name, which I just did here. File name 3. So you can see some contents. So the cat command showed me that there's actually something inside, and this is not an empty file. All right. So when I'm talking about an empty file, or when you say like this is a non-empty, we meaning it's not empty. I don't know why ls like using that word non-empty file. So file that is not empty. So okay, so we have ls. You can also view hidden files by using stuff like this. So this is just like a long list format. So you know there are normal LX there. This is just an extension of it. So the dash L is just like an option, just like an attribute, adding more features to what ls command can do. So the L make it in a long list format. You can see whatever that is really listed here is also what is listed here. Just that this one has more information. All right. Um, Let me scroll down a bit because of the screen. So there's also another one that is LSLA. This will just show hidden files. So first start with ls-a. So this will show hidden files first. All right. So hidden files, if you want to create hidden files, you just need to use dots. Just use period at the start of it to be an hidden file. All right. So let me show you an example. Remember our ls. These are our files here. So let me create an empty file and I want to be an hidden file. That means I'm going to use dots here. Then I'm going to write file name 4. Now, if I do ls, we won't see file name 4 here because it is an hidden file, right? Because I started with the period. But if I want to really view it, if I want to check it, if it's really there, that's when I will need that command of ls-a. Yeah, to show me the hidden file, and I can see this is the file name 4 here, dot file name 4. So you can as well choose to remove it. So to remove files is rm command, then dot file name. At times, all this your name of files may be long to write. So there's a short way of doing it. You can just start from the first 2 letter or first 3 letter. Then in your keyboard, click on tab. It will complete it for you. So that's what just happened now. So let me do that again. Tab. That's the tab key on your keyboard. So it's like another faster way of just doing stuff since you know the name is already there. Right? Just like this part now, this sudo as admin success. If you are writing it one by one, it may seem stressful. You can just write sudo and just click on the tab to complete it for you. So make your work faster as a programmer. So we've talked about how to create empty files, how to view empty files, how to use ls. So those are just the popular things you will just be using. And um, what else is necessary? So you've learned how to remove also. So the rm command to remove. Also, you need to create a directory. To learn how to create a directory, right? Let me check where I am. Okay, so we can make a directory by using mkdir command to make a directory. So I can name this one directory 1, make another directory 2. So if I do ls, we are going to see the directories there. So we have the directory 1 here, directory 2 here. You can see the color difference. So note the color difference. So that means this symbolizes a directory, right? So just keep that at the back of your mind. So I think these are just the major things you just get to be playing along with most times here. And just one more thing. Personally, these files you are seeing here, these mini Python projects or stuff, they're actually some GitHub files I have. So I want to show you how to remove a GitHub file. So I want to show you how to remove a GitHub file. To use how to remove a directory, I mean the GitHub account directory. So this is a GitHub registered directory. So I can't just use rm minus r to remove it. It won't remove. Okay. So the way to do that is for you to add an extra feature to this r. The extra feature is f. So let me scroll back up. So the extra feature is actually f. So f is it's just as if you are forcing it to remove. I don't know why this stuff is behaving like this. It doesn't want me to. Okay. So the f is just like forcing it to remove the GitHub directory. If I click enter now, I expect it to remove. So it has removed for me. And just so you know, you can move up. Like if I do Control L, I've take it one page up. which means if I scroll back up like this, I can still see my files back. So I use Control L to like take it one step up to clear the portion of my screen without necessarily using clear, because there's a difference between using clear and using Control L. So the Control L will take it one page up, while clear will really clear this interface completely. It won't clear your work though, but you just clear the interface. But I don't want to clear the interface. I just want to be seeing whatever I've been doing so far. Okay. So like I said, to remove a GitHub directory from your terminal, ensure you add F to this option. All right, because on the norms to remove a directory on Linux, you just need to do rm-r. You don't need to put F. But whenever you are deleting a directory that you know you get cloned, that's a GitHub directory, you have to make sure you add F, unless it won't delete. So just keep that at the back of your mind. So what else? What else? I think that's all you will be using for now. So PWD is just for you to check the working directory you are in. Yes. So yeah. So you already know what cd dot dot means. Take you one step up. Can repeat it again. Cd dot dot take you the next step up. Okay. So shortcut of going to your parents or root directory, just put your cd, take you to your home directory rather. So that is the cd, takes me to the home directory. I think these are just the major things you'll be doing. So let's go to the next part of using Emacs and VI. There are actually more to this. Watch my videos on shell navigation. You learn more, like things like moving, copying, stuff like that. You learn stuff like that. Probably when you might not get to use those copying yet, but you know you are still supposed to know things like that. You understand? So probably along the line in C programming, right, you might need to copy some files like that. But anyway, that's till then. Okay, so moving to the aspect of text editor, so we know Emacs VI. I'm a favorite fan of Emacs. I promote Emacs. As far as I'm concerned, VI looks like old version to me. So, but I know most of us like VI because probably the command looks easy or shorter compared to Emacs in a way. So let's do some stuff with using Emacs and VI. So let me just remove all these files I've created. Now, if you notice, you will hear a sound. Now, that sound, remember I said the shortcut of writing this stuff. If you just write the file, Fi or L, then you click your tab key, it wants to finish it for you. But now, it didn't finish it because I have the same file in find them. So the difference are 2 and 3. So it's not sure which of them I want to print. So I'll really want to specify. So again, for the third round, 3. So I'm deleting these old files at once here. So if I do ls, they are no longer there, right? Okay, so to use Emacs, you can choose to create an empty file first, just like we've done, or you can just write Emacs and the name of your file. So file name, click enter, to take you straight up to the Emacs interface, put whatever content you want to put inside your Emacs, then save and exit. So I just entered Emacs and the file name. So I'm in my Emacs, so I can write whatever stuff I want to write. If it's the answer to your task, if it's whatever. If it's your C programming language, you're going to write your C programming language inside there also. Okay, and just note that one thing about Emacs is that whenever you have written whatever content you want to write, just ensure you leave an empty line after it. Because see, I just click enter to leave this empty line. So sometimes that is part of this can make you be your code will not be checking, even though you write the correct answer. So the issue is that you didn't leave any empty line here. But I think in VI you don't need to leave any empty line in VI. But in Emacs, always don't forget you always need to leave an empty line after whatever stuff you've written. Okay, just remember that one. So I just need to save and exit. So for me to save and exit, I will hold my control key in my laptop. My hand is still in the key. Then I'll click X. Then I'll leave the hand. Then again, I'll click the control again. Then I'll tap S. So that means save. So let me show you the right up here. Let me take this up. So you can see now, wrote means like it has like saved the name of the file. Okay, so I've saved it now like this. So I can also exit it the same method. So I will hold my control and I'll click X. Then I will remove my hands. Then I'll hold my control. Then I'll click C. So I've exited the Emacs. So if I do ls here, you can see we have the file name here. If I do the cat for me to see what's inside your file name, it should show me what's there, which is I love Python. right? So that's just how to play along with this. You can also do the same method with VI. Just write VI name of your file. So file name two. Click enter to take you straight to your VI interface, or you can as well just choose to create the file, the empty file first. I just created. Okay. Oh, I just overwrite. I made a mistake now. Me creating this touch, I must have overwrite this file name here, which means it will be an empty file here now. Let me check that to be sure if okay, okay, still same. So okay, good. Let me say okay, file name two. All right, so I can just say vi file name two. Take me to the VI interface, which is this is the boring VI interface as far as I'm concerned. And then like, let me just write I love C programming. You guys should raise up for C programming. So for inserts, one thing about VI is that's insert mode, that's command mode. So for you to type all these things you are typing, first thing you need to do is to click on letter I. So let me go back to the way it initially is. Now this is how it is initially. If I write anything here, I'm clicking my keyboard, nothing is showing. I hear those sounds. So nothing is really showing because I have not enabled the insert mode. So for me to enable the insert mode, I just need to click letter I key on my keyboard. You can see it has wrote insert here. So now I can write anything I want to write. So just see all these text editors like Microsoft Word, any document write up. So that's what all the text editors actually mean. So you can write whatever content inside that your file. So that's just it. Then if you are done, you just need to save and exit, right? So for you to save and exit, since you're in your insert mode, you have to leave your insert mode. So for you to leave your insert mode, you just need to click on your escape key. I think most laptop, your escape key should be in the top left corner, so which is ESC. So once you click on that, you can see the insert stuff has removed. So I'm now in my command mode. So I can choose to save and exit. So I'll click the save and exit is colon WQ, which means write and quit, right? So just hit hold shift, click your colon, then WQ, hit enter. So that's just it. So let's see what's inside my file name too. So this is the rubbish I wrote inside. So that's just how VI and Emacs works. The beauty about Emacs is that it has a way of storing your file for you too, like backing up your file in case you lose that file. So that's one of the advantage of Emacs, and Emacs has a lot of features. All right, if you really learn the tutorial that I said you should learn in Emacs through using Emacs tutorial itself. Remember, if I say Emacs, I just entered Emacs now. Sorry, I'm emphasizing more on Emacs. It's because of I prefer Emacs more than VI, sadly. So look at this Emacs tutorial here, or Emacs manual. So look at this Emacs tutorial. They say for you to access this tutorial, use CH and T. So what that means is that C, the capital C always means control, right? So it means I should hold my control key and click on letter H. Then I should remove my hand and click only letter T. That's what that means. If I hold a control key, I click H. Next thing for me to click now is just only T. You can see that take me to the Emacs tutorial. So this is how the tutorial is. So the tutorial is actually simple. It's actually fun. It's actually fun if you really sit down. So just read each of the sentence. It even asks tasks as you are doing it. You'll be testing different things, learning different things. So you can just learn like up to down to like 60% of it. Then you are good to go in terms of saying you want to learn in depth of all the features of Emacs itself. Right, so this is the best tutorial as far as Emacs is concerned. You can't see any other tutorial online that can explain Emacs in detail. So this interface is the best tutorial you can ever get from Emacs learning, right? So let me exit this place. So I was saying something concerning Emacs about its backup files. So like I don't know who are these ones joining by this time now. When using the less command, as for the less command, I don't know. You just less is just like putting a lot. We are moving stuff to using pipe just to how will I put it in English? Like all these things you are seeing on your screen, you are trying to pipe it or place it inside something else. probably inside a more, there's a more command, there's a less command. So just like putting all these things you are seeing in your screen, instead of it showing your screen, you are moving it to be inside something else. That's just like what it means. There is actually it's actually deeper than this. So later on in the ALS program, you get to learn more about stuff like that. So there's stuff like redirecting and the likes. So I wanted to say something concerning the mask. Let me just quickly say that before we enter our kits hub. Okay, so let me say this is a let me just write this one as MC. So this is the name of the file. I just chose to write this extension. It's not compulsory to write this extension, right? So I just chose to write it anyways. So I created this file. Then if I do Emacs, if I Emacs the file, then if I put whatever stuff I put, save and exit. Then if I do ls, if you notice this tilde, I have two copies of the same empty dots. Empty dot doc. So I have two copies. The two copies are the same thing. So just that in case if I lose this one, I can also recover it from this. All right. So that's just what that means. Control L to clear the screen one, to take the screen one page up. That's what I just did now. Okay, so I can choose to then remove. There's a short, how will I put this stuff? There's a way of doing this. If I want to remove this file now, I can simply just type the name of the file, then put the tilde. It will specifically remove this. So in case you have multiple tildes, there's a faster way of doing this without doing it one by one. So a faster way of doing this is just for you to put an asterisk here, then put the tilde sign, which means it will delete anything that has tilde at the end. Any file name that has tilde at the end is going to delete it. That's what this short command means. So you also learn more about this when it comes to wildcards. So you learn about wildcards later on. It will go in depth with this. Okay, so don't worry, you get to understand that. So if I click enter, if you check ls, you won't see that again. So just in case you have multiple of this tilde stuff from Emacs, you can easily remove them at once by doing this short command. Remove asterisk. That asterisk means delete all. The asterisk is equivalent to all files that end with tilde. So it will remove them at once. All right, so let's go to GitHub, Git and GitHub. Okay, Git and GitHub, Git and GitHub. I will not, Git and GitHub is a deep concept, so I will not go deep. I will not touch some certain things. So if you want to learn the deep aspect of it, go to my tutorials and learn them. So I'll just touch the surface part of it about how to just create a repository and just clone it, the basic things. So this is my repository. So I would like to create a repository. So there are several ways. I think can click here, then click new repository, or even when you might be in your your profile page. I think my network is quite slow. If I click repository, it will show me all my repositories here, right? So you can click the new to create a new repository for you. So you can put whatever repository name. Let me name this one tutorial repo. So this is a repository I chose to create. I chose to put a description if you have any description. Description is just a portion that tells or explains what your project is all about. Just is I think a 50 sentence short description. Yeah. So public, you can make it private. That means you'll be the only one that can see it. Or you can make it public. But as far as ELS is concerned, you need to make it public so that the checker will be able to see it, right? So you can click on the add a readme file. And let me just say something here. As far as ALS is concerned, they don't advise you clicking on this at all. So don't click on this whenever you are dealing with your ALS project. All right. Always create your readme file inside your terminal. Okay. So just like you'll be creating your other files, like just create your readme file by using your echo command, put whatever that is inside your readme that you want to put inside, put your greater than sign, then write the name of your readme.mt. So it's as simple as that. So you don't need to create it here. All right. If you create it here, okay, I thought someone wants to join. Okay, so public, you can ignore this, but if you are working on your own that you are not really dealing with TLS, you don't care about TLS, you can just enable this. All right, just so you know. So I'll click create repository, and there's something called git ignore. I think I mentioned that stuff in my tutorial out there, so you can get to watch my Linux or GitHub tutorial git ignore, so you learn what git ignore means. So it's something you also need to know about. So you can make some files hidden. So this is how it always looks like whenever you've created a new repo. And this is just like a guideline of the things you will likely need from the beginning start of your repo, right? So this is my HTTPS link. So I just need to copy and paste this. I'll just click on copy. I've actually clicked on it. So I'll just go to this place. So it depends on where you want to clone it though. So let me clone my own. I'll clone it here since I'm in the home directory. I'll just say git clone. If you're using Ubuntu, for you to paste, just click your right key in your mouse on your laptop, like your right button, okay? So to paste it directly. If you're using Git Bash, just right click and show your option for paste. If you're using the sandbox, that's the terminal, the ALS sandbox, I think the shortcut is it Control AV? Yeah, I think something like that. Control AV. Control is it Control Shift AV or Control AV to paste in your sandbox. So that's just their short code, right? So I'll click enter. So it's cloning for me. You appear to have a clone, you have cloned an empty repository. Obviously, it's an empty repository because I don't have anything inside here, right? So the major point is that at least it has been cloned. If I do ls, I'm going to see it here. You can see that as it's here, tutorial repo. Right, so let's go to our tutorial repo. So I'll just say cd tutorial. So I'm inside the repo like this. So there's actually nothing inside. If I do ls, you can see it's not showing anything, which means there's actually nothing inside. That's why it's not showing anything. So let's create our readme file. So always the first step to do most times is for you to just create your readme file first off. Okay. So I will say readme, that's it depends if I want to use echo for, okay, let me just use echo just so I can put some contents easily. This echo command has a limit, okay? So even your tasks that you are doing with your ALS, that you're using VI, that you're using the max, can also use echo to put in those your answers that they ask you to put in there, like this. They put the name of the file for that task. It will still work for you, but there's a limit to which echo can do. That's why you always still need your text editor, because when it comes to writing code that has multiple lines, like writing your C programming or writing long text, you can't use echo. Right, so echo is just like all these short statements like this. So you can just easily use echo to maneuver it. Okay, so let me put something meaningful. So some contents. So echo some content inside my readme.md. So if I do ls, we have readme.md. Then the rest you can just put your other files that concerns ALX, right? So let me just assume I create several files. So file one, file two, file three, as just assume those files have something inside. So you are done with all your ALS tasks. You've done all your tax one, tax two, tax three. Then the next thing for you to do is then to git push to your repository in your GitHub. Right, that will be the next step for you to do. So for us to do that, there are steps you will first need to follow. So I always advise my students, my people to always start with using Git status to be sure of something first. So to be sure if some files are being tracked or not tracked. Okay, so it's necessary for you to confirm stuff like this. Very, very necessary, right? Okay, so all these files showing red, it means they are tracked files. So I have to track it. So I have to track those files. So for me to track those files, I just need to write git add. So you can use git add period. You can see notice that dots there, the period there. So it will add everything at once, or if you want to be doing it one by one. Doing it one by one is a load of work, because imagine if you have 10 files, you have 20 files, you can't be doing it one by one. Because you can just easily write git add period enter. Then if I do my git status again to check if they are now being tracked, you can see now that's changed to green color. So it means it is being tracked now, so it is ready to be committed. So that's what that statement means. So it is ready to be committed. So changes can be committed. So whenever now it is ready to be committed now. Notice something. If I create another new file now, touch 5 or then touch 4. Now if I write, remember always use your ls to confirm what you've done. So we have the touch 4, we have the file 4 here rather. So if I do the git status again, you can see That it will show this red flag. Assuming I forgot and I choose not to check this and I try to git push it, I'll be seeing error messages. So all these are the manual errors you just need to keep in mind. So always check your status before you start rushing into I want to commit, I want to commit, I want to git push. Calm down first. Check your git status to know which of them have been which of them is not being tracked. So git add, then let me check the git status again. So all of them are green, which means they are all tracked now. Okay, so they are ready to be committed right now. So I can just say git commit and then put whatever commit message I want to put. Okay, so usually commit message should be something meaningful. Okay, just put something meaningful that concerns what you are doing. So I can just write something like I created 4 empty files. Now, the reason you just need to be using good commit messages because as when you're working with a team, so and they want to and another programmer see your work and they see your commit message, they will at least understand what you did or what you are trying to achieve that made you push this. So don't write any random unnecessary word or stupid words. So write something meaningful. So to even make your work in your GitHub look neat and understandable. Okay, so this is it. That's shown the sign that all this has been created. Commit message is successful. So now we can push it. Yeah. So if I say git push, so ask for my username. And the reason it's actually Swift for me now is because I've actually been working on this my Ubuntu. I've stored my remotes, especially as I even Git cloned itself. So make Git cloning will make the Git push faster for me. Unlike if I started creating the repository from here itself. Like what I mean is that what I did just now was that I created the repository first from the GitHub website. Then I Git cloned, right? Now there's another way of also doing this whereby you didn't create the repository yet in the GitHub website. You created the repository first in your terminal. So this is most likely what you might get to be facing later on. So there is a case whereby you will create a repository first inside your terminal. Then you now want to link it to your GitHub account. All right. So that's where you need to use stuff like this: git remote add origin and git push dash u origin main. So that's when you need these lines of commands here. So I don't know if there's time for me to run that up. So anyways, from this stage, just put your password, your username. My username is Lexis Code. My password, okay, I'm going to use my path token. Uh, Let me see. Where did I save that stuff again? Um, what's that name of? Sticky notes. Yeah, sticky notes. I think it will be this first one. Okay, so let me paste that. Whenever you're pasting your Linux terminal, it's not showing, but it is actually inside. So it's a security feature, right? So I just pasted it and I click enter. So I expect it to go unless I'm using the wrong password. Okay, it's wasting time. I guess it's loading inside or something. Loading, loading, loading. Okay, I don't expect to waste this much time anyways. So you can use your Ubuntu to do your works like this, or you can also use your Git bash to do your SSH stuff to push it to your GitHub. So both of them work very, very fine. I would have Okay, I noticed it. Now, in case you are seeing error like this, I think I posted this stuff recently on the group chat. So whenever you see this kind of error, yeah, fatal error, authentication fail, blah 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 blah, this text, check my last message concerning this. So there's a format I'm supposed to use to Git. I don't know why the issue is from the GitHub website itself. They are not making this thing easy for someone. So there are some information like my path token that's supposed to be within this region or so. That's what I missed here in my Git cloning. Alright, so whenever you are Git cloning, follow that syntax I sent in the group chat so it won't bring this particular error message. Alright, so I don't know, it's recently this issue started happening with GitHub sites. Alright, so just keep that at the back of your mind. That's why you are seeing this authentication field. So the solution to it is a solution I've sent in the group chat. Right, so just check my last messages there. I created a syntax of how to Git cloning. So what you just need to do now is just for you to just for me to delete everything I've done here and restart afresh, right? But I'm not going to do that here. I just assume you at least get the gist. Okay, so let me remove my GitHub stuff. So I'll just say remove, remember RF, then tutorial repo. Okay, I guess it's gone now. So I think I would like to show you how it works whenever you create your repository first in your terminal. Of the first thing we did here, we created it directly from the GitHub site first, right? So you can also create it with your terminal first. By the way, you can also delete this repository by going to settings, click on delete repository, and delete the stuff. So because of time, let me not spend my time on that one. So let me just create another repository again. Okay, okay, yeah, let me just create another repository first. I'll just name this one tools testing, just giving it a random name, right? So we have tools testing. Is there any other thing I need to? Okay, no, that's in here. So create repository. So I've created this repository now in my GitHub, but this time around, I don't want to git clone. Okay, remember, if you want to git clone, you have to just copy this link, this HTTPS link. Mind you, the format here, the syntax here is wrong. So I don't know, they need to correct this stuff. Like the syntax here is wrong. So use the right syntax, git clone it. But this time around, I don't want to git clone it. I want to show you another way of doing the same thing. So since it is thoughts underscore testing, so I can just go to my terminal. Let me clear this time around. You notice this clear, if I scroll up, there's nothing up. So because of I used a clear command this time around, I didn't use Control L to take it one page up, right? So if I want to do this same stuff now, this old stuff we repeated now, using without using it clone, what I would do is that I'll just say I'll first create a directory which is exactly the same name as this name. Okay, it must be exact. So thoughts testing. Now this is a normal directory. There's nothing special with this directory. It can be as any other directories we are seeing here. So for us to make it special that this is a GitHub directory, then you must add something called git init. So you first need to go inside the directory. So cd inside that directory, then write git init. So this git init, you can see that's its format here. So the git init will initialize the program for you, making it a GitHub directory, not a normal directory. Okay, so if I click enter, I can see initialize empty repository. So now it is now a GitHub directory, it's not a normal directory anymore. Then you can now be doing your random stuff, put your readme file, readme.md. So just put all your work. So once you are done putting all your work, then check your git status. So I need to git add for it to be tracked. Git add period, okay, space period. So let me check the git status again. It should be green. You can see it is green. So that means I'm on the right track. So now I can git commits, put whatever text you want to put inside, enter. So I've git commit this message. Now watch this. If I git push now to create some kind of error message for me. Yeah, so it can't just get pushed randomly because it has no connection with your GitHub, with the repository you've just created in your GitHub. So you have to link it in a way. Okay, so this GitHub website is a remote way of linking it, right? So that's why you need to follow this format of what it is guiding you to use. So it's telling you to use git remote add, the name of the repository. So the name of the repository, which is actually the origin, then the link, the URL link to it. So the URL link is actually this URL link we are seeing here. Okay, so just for us to be able to link that, so I can just write git remote add origin. The origin is this name part, the name part, right? That's what it's saying. Now the URL link is this link here. Okay, so don't forget to use the original link, but in this case, let me just use what is here, even if it brings the error message later on for me to print it. So I just don't want to waste time with thinking about putting my parts and the right and the likes. So just follow that format, git remote add origin, then the link. So I've connected it now. Now, if I do again git push, I expect to show me something else again. Good. So it will show me this again that, okay, you have linked it, but then we need to be sure of your upstream branch. So I'm actually in my master branch. By default in your GitHub, you are usually create your repository are usually created in the master branch. Okay, so you can also be in the main branch. You can choose to change it to main branch or whatever, but you can still work with your master branch regardless. It will still go fine for you. Okay, so what is telling you now for me to is telling you to write this sentence. So which means you have to write this sentence. Now this line we are seeing here is the same thing as this line you are seeing here. Okay, although this place they wrote main here. The point is that from the history of GitHub, right? From the history of GitHub, it's always master. So it's not quite long they change it to main because females are like, why would they be using masters? Why master is the name? Me, I'm a female. I don't want to be using. Why would I be using master? You know, these feminists, the way they talk now. So stuff like that. So they change it to main, so it will look like a general something that a girl and a guy can use without feeling as if it's one-sided stuff. No, master is a young guy's title name. You understand? So but it's still the same thing. Like in the essence, still the same thing. So I can say git push. So instead of me writing this long set upstream dash upstream is like a long stress, right? So the shortcut of writing this is just by writing dash u, which is this shortcut. So it seems like writing this long text here. Then write your origin, then write master. So now I've connected to it. So to ask me for my username, then to ask me also to put my parts. Let me test that part again if it will work. Though I know I didn't use the right link, but let's see if any miracle can happen, if it will work in this sense. Okay, so I'm going to right click. So I've pasted it, it's not showing, but it's inside as usual. So yeah, it doesn't work. I'm not surprised. So the issue was this link. So work on this link for you to push for you. Okay. So like I said, the format of the link is on the group chat already. So just to sum up all of this, so there's also something called branch for us to know which branch we are working on. So we're in our master branch, right? So we're in our master branch. So you can also create your own branch by writing git branch and giving it whatever name you want to name it. So you can name it anti branch. Then if I want to view all my branches, I can just write git branch to show me all my branch. You notice the master is colored, which means that is where I'm in currently. If I want to move out of this place, then I can always use the git checkout to check out of this portion and enter into the new branch. So it's just a way of going through the new branch. That's, I think, git checkout. Is there another command I'm missing there? Let me try that again. Git checkout. The name of the branch is okay. I didn't spell the anti as I spelled it here. Okay, I spelled the anti correctly in the second round, but that's not exactly how I named it here. ANU. I wrote here AUN. All right. So I can say I've switched to the anti branch. So if I am to check again my git branch, we're going to see the branch. You can see this is now colored, which means I'm now in the anti branch. So I can do whatever stuff I choose to want to do here. You can see exactly what was inside my master branch is also what is shown inside the anti branch. So I can maneuver, I can add many things. I can do testing inside this branch. And when I'm satisfied with that testing, I can now do git merge. And then I can merge it with the master branch. You understand? So everything that will be inside my testing branch in the anti branch will move directly back to my master branch. So that's just how to be. You'll get more details about it. I explain this concept very well in my video. So I can't be stretching too much on this part. All right. So let me just get out of this place. So check out back to my master. So I'm back to my master. If I do git branch master, so yeah, so the master is here. So I really recommend if you really want to know more about GitHub, just check my videos on GitHub. It's well detailed, explained. We're trying to manage our 1 hour here. So we have like 5 minutes left. So let me use that 5 minutes to take random questions, then we call it a day, right? So let me unmute you guys. All right, so if you have questions, you can feel to unmute yourself now and quickly ask. We have 5 minutes left. Okay, please unmute yourself and ask.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to know what the name of your channel is because I joined yesterday evening,
Oh,
so I
my,
didn't get
okay,
the
my YouTube
web.
channel. Are you asking about my YouTube channel?
Yes,
Okay,
can you
Where
put it
the
on the
videos are.
cassette?
Okay, let's go there together. So this is the channel. I think, are you in my, so if you're in the WhatsApp group anyways, you can, in short, probably let me just copy and paste this and paste it inside the chat. Where is that chat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If possible, an introduction
Will this
start, started.
will this section be recorded?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
recorded? The
recorded.
section.
Yeah, it's recorded.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was very great. Some of us that are actually from another field, I'm not really getting so much hang of it, but
Okay, I understand.
I think
That's
with time I'll pick up.
sure, sure.
I'm not
You
really
should
actually
even.
getting so much.
There are people like you started that way. They have no experience with programming, and they're actually doing well. Just that you just need to invest more time in your studies. So that's just what you
Okay.
need to do. And that's why I actually created this program, just to help people like you. All right, so the next person, Jason Ramla, Pessin.
Hi, good day, Alexander. How are you?
Alpha.
All right, okay, cool. So a few days ago, we had a live session with Cole, and during his lesson, he used a command called less in Linux. When we used that command, we weren't able to exit the screen. So I'm not sure. I tried Googling it, and we found that the letter Q helps us to exit, but it didn't work for me. So I'm not sure if I did something wrong on that screen.
Less command. Just give me a minute. Let me.
Aibo, are we fighting?
So yeah, for the less command, yeah, I
What's
think
going
the Q is
on? Yo,
indeed.
this network is bad.
I think please unmute. I mean, mute yourself. Probably let me help you to mute yourself. Okay. All right. So we're asking about that less command stuff, right? I think to exit that less command
Yeah. So
is it's still that Q now.
so I
It
think
didn't work for you or what?
so I think so I think what he was doing was I think less we new to coding. He was showing us that the less command shows us what's in a file, and then it displays the contents of a file. I'm not sure if I'm correct in saying that. When it displays the contents, I was not able to
Hmm.
exit that file. I had to disconnect and reconnect in order to get my command lines again.
Wow, that is weird. Okay, let me see if I can test that here. Let me see the dot
Okay.
dot. One page up. Okay. Is there any stuff in this? Okay, let me just put some content inside one of these files. So let me just create a simple echo file. So whatever is inside it, what the name of the file is I. I know that's a weird name, right? So LSI, cat I. Okay, just to be sure. Um, I think the less command then is for us. The major, I think less command is a command for displaying content, and that way of displaying the same content. So if I
Correct.
let me see, if I use less, is it text file name? Let me see. I So this is it here, which is the whatever, right? So it can be a long
Correct.
text. So if you want to remove it, I just
Correct.
need to click letter Q. Let me see. Okay, I want to click Q now. Let's see if it exits now. I'm clicking Q now. One, two, ready, go. It exits now.
Aha. Okay. I'll try it again on my
Okay, try
side
it again. Yeah.
and confirm with you.
Okay, try it again. It's work now. So that's the less command.
Thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome.
also another thing, Alexander, if you could, we if you could do some introduction videos to Vim and Emacs and pseudocode, maybe like a 30-minute tutorial, it'll help us
I thought
on that basic level.
I've done that today already, like right now already.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay,
Okay,
it's
or
this
you
good.
came
one is
late.
still
You
It's
came late.
okay.
no, no, I was on time. It was just a bit quick.
Okay, that's what I actually did. Yeah. So
But okay,
I just remembered one
I'll
more
try and
thing.
see if I can rewatch it or watch your YouTube videos.
Okay, I will upload this video. Don't worry. You can, if you are joining late, you get to see where Let me just say one more thing concerning that pseudocode stuff. Um, flow charts. How will I search this stuff now? For loop in C images. So the idea, the place I got inspiration from in terms of creating those pseudocode commands is through this Google search, just so you can know the right shapes to be using where necessary. Okay, so different shape means
Mhm.
a unique stuff, right? So let me just select one. So this circle usually from starts. Anytime I want to deal with start, we use circle. Also, want to end it, you deal with circle. All right. So when you want to do with stuff like initialization, we use a rectangle. When we want to use write something called a conditional statement, that's what we use kites, or if you want to call it kites, I don't know. Is it parallelogram or something bent? So just know that whenever you're dealing with condition,
Mhm.
use this shape.
Since it's trapezium.
Is it trapezium?
No, the one second to it is trapezium. This
Okay,
one
okay,
is
this one.
parallelogram,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, this one is a
Yeah.
trapezium. Remind me of physics, vector quantity. So yeah, so okay, this is trapezium. I'm not really sure I even use this at all too. But I guess you can, okay, you can use it. Yeah, let me see the other condition of how you can use it here.
I'm
Okay, okay.
Alexander.
Yeah, so condition, start,
I,
end, arrow line for kites. So I think when it comes to other
so Alexander,
ones, yes,
I,
yes.
I'm not sure if I speak for everybody in our group, but the problem we seem to be having is we understand the pseudo code and the flowchart methodology, but the problem we're having is when they ask us a question or give us an example to work with, we have no idea what that example actually means in order to start making a pseudo code or
I
a
don't even
flowchart in the
understand
first place.
flowchart itself from
Do
the
you have
first
any past?
place.
Do you have
Everything
any?
seems
Do you
like
have
Greek
any?
to me.
Do you have any past coding experience?
None. Zero.
No, no, no.
That is why you are feeling this way. You understand? So later on, like I said in the group
I-
chat, the reason I could do the pseudocode is because I had programming experience before joining the class. So once you start programming, C programming, you'll get to understand some concepts that you make you think critically
Okay.
and want to solve the problem.
But I want to also know, like, this first week for us. Hello?
Yeah, what do you saying?
Alexandra,
Yeah, I can hear you.
I want to know this first week for us, like all these tasks and projects they are giving us, and it's written 0% weight. Are they recorded, or is it what they will use to kick us out at the second month? Because most of them in the first week, I wasn't able to get my GitHub up. I wasn't able to get my Slack working. I just managed to set my Slack up and then join Jasper and join the body group.
Okay, okay.
So most of these things I haven't done any project and they wipe them out. So I don't know if this is recorded for us or not.
It is not recorded. Good luck.
Thank you.
So this week and next week is not
Thank
recorded. So it's from upper week to start being officially recorded. So
Okay. So
Emmanuel,
we'll just use this week and be picking up a little
yeah,
bit
use
the
this week
much we
and
can.
next week to master what you want to master. Then upper week, serious business starts. All right, Emmanuel, go on.
Hello, ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Alex, good evening once more. Actually, once again, God I beg, Omo. I understand most everything you've shared. Your tutorials are amazing. Very, very down to earth, easy to understand.
Thank you. I'm blushing.
Thank you very much for those your tutorials.
Okay, thank you very much for the compliments. I think there's someone else, the Tigre. I mean,
And
Yeah.
now the only issue I think I'm having is that pseudocode algorithm. Since 6 a.m. I've been trying that flowchart, man. It's not entering. I don't just know what to do.
don't beat yourself up with flowchart, anyways. Later on, you get to know that one later. So the other person, last question. Unmute yourself, please. Botsumelo, or did I pronounce it well? Just
Hi everyone. Um,
I'm good.
it's not a question. It's not a question, but rather a suggestion for those who are struggling with the flow chart.
Okay.
So I advise that you start with the pseudocode and use this particular process. So when you start with your pseudocode, right, there's a three-step to it: input, process, and output.
Okay. So I think the conclusion is that there's
When you write a recipe, you start with your ingredients, and then the process is the steps of creating whatever it is that you're going to do. And then the output is basically the output of whatever it is that you're making. And then from the pseudocode, and then try to do a flow chart based on your pseudocode.
okay.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much for the suggestion. You know, the whole concept or advantage of pseudocode is just for us to break down our tasks in a simple English manner so that I can get to do things one step at a time without being confused or doing it randomly. So that's the um, analogy concerning what pseudocode is all about. In the real world sense, in the future, though, you might not necessarily need, like in your personal projects, you might not necessarily need to be drawing the charts. That is, the writing of the pseudocode can be essential, especially in Python, though. Okay, so next one, I think David, one last question. Unmute yourself. Oh,
Yeah. Alex, thank you for the recap.
yeah.
Yeah. It was very informative. I rather have a suggestion for the pseudocode because yeah, I had to watch 1,000 videos just to try and grasp the major concept. And like Boitumelo said, yeah, the what I understood from everything was input, process, output, which is really, really correct about that. But then also to approach the questions, I think what one can do is, of course, when you try to read the question and it's not so clear, you can try to paraphrase it. I remember when the first task was talking about the sum of squares of input given numbers, and of course I tried racking my head around it, and I couldn't really get anything. But over time, as I checked online, I found out that okay, there was a mathematical formula attached to it. I think that's also another thing we can also find out for ourselves. So with the mathematical formula, I was able to understand okay, these are the things that are involved. I had to paraphrase the question and then write in plain English as if I was just creating an algorithm for myself, as if I was not even coding, as if I was not a programmer. Just write in plain English what you intend. You can even decide to write without the ifs and the else if it will make things a bit complicated. But I think part of what makes the pseudocode quite difficult is maybe you might want to start adding if and else and then or end if. So, but if you can actually write, since you're right, pseudocode is for yourself. It's not a programming language. You can just write as in the basic plain English for yourself. Then when you're done with that and you understand what you've written, you can now decide to rewrite it in a bit more technical way. Maybe you might now want to start saying input is equal to this or that. Just if you want to just start adding all those things. But I think the first thing we want to talk to is the people who want to turn on your TV. Just like if you want to turn on your TV, you get your remote, you search for the channel. So if you can write the code in this way, where you just explain things in plain English, it's not that easy to do, but relatively easier. That's just my suggestion. Maybe you can try it and see if it will work for you.
Okay, nice. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you for your suggestion. So I guess there's no more questions. So next week, okay, next week project is still this week project, so there's nothing new. So I think till upper week, then you will start your serious works. So thank you for everyone for the time. So I guess there's no much thing to talk about anymore, right? So let's have a lovely day. Goodbye. Goodbye.